Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have quite a few different things to go and talk about when it comes to just everything. This is going to be pretty much that big mega leak when it comes to huge changes for the Xbox Game Pass, when it comes to brand new PlayStation events, when it comes to brand new huge IPs like Silent Hill that we keep on hearing more and more rumors on, in regards to the brand new Warzone 2, in regards to pretty much everything. We have a lot of little stuff go floating around all throughout today, and even some Final Fantasy 16 news too as well, that once again, we're just hearing good news all around, which is nice because we're actually pretty much getting closer to the event time where, we have a lot of the summertime, the post E3, although we're kind of sad about the fact that E3 is, well, pretty much gone. But when it comes to this, we actually usually had a lot of summertime releases prepping up for the rest of the year and the holidays, and this is kind of just having a lot more leaks and a lot more information coming on out. So if you guys enjoy the leaks or these types of videos or summaries and stuff, feel free to leave a like and make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console controller, Twitter and Twitch room down below, the Weeble and Coinbase down below, and everything else down below. And let's go and dive on into it. So one of the biggest and first more kind of, bigger things I want to go talk about over here is we're now hearing multiple different leaks when it comes now to huge Xbox Game Pass changes. So with this, we actually are hearing some even more kind of spicy news that Ubisoft Plus, so basically if you guys have seen that kind of announcement we talked about yesterday, or saw the overall general PlayStation stuff, which had a lot more of the older Ubisoft games tied on into it, other classic games, will be also coming to Xbox Game Pass, which we kind of have that pseudo mention kind of when it comes to, not really confirmed, but you can maybe assume it with the combination of the PlayStation and Xbox side together. Now as they go and do that, it does kind of seem like we'll be getting a lot more Xbox vibes. So it'll be basically announced on the upcoming Xbox Bethesda showcase, as you guys know, is planned up in June. It's just only a few weeks away. Now, there's also another leak over here where the Xbox Game Pass family plan actually also might be announced too as well, which just also means too on top of this, we're just kind of basically maybe you have your family, maybe you have your brother, sister, dad, and uncle. You guys are all maybe gamers, or maybe you guys just all share an Xbox, or maybe some of you guys are on PC, some of you guys are Xbox. We're actually now apparently seeing a more of a family approach towards the Xbox Game Pass changes. Now, this is all just on the leaked side too, but we keep on seeing more and more information and more speculation on all this stuff. I personally would love it. I'm a big fan of basically if one of your friends, one of your family members, your husband and wife maybe together, or like I said, maybe your brother, your sister, etc. If you could all be in the same family plan and maybe save some money and also have access to the games, you gotta give some good thumbs up, and I think that'd be a very nice additional bonus for Xbox Game Pass, especially with the Netflix kind of big drama where a lot of the times for Xbox now or Netflix nowadays, a lot of people are upset because, well, people share passwords. It happens all the time for Hulu or HBO or all that. Amazon Prime especially. Or as well as you guys know, Nintendo even has family plans too, which is a pretty good price point. So at the end of the day, people know they're family games. They have friends that want to have a joint group together. And at the end of the day, I think these companies would rather make the money. So I think the family game plan is going to be insanely good, as well as also Ubisoft Plus Classics. Now, this also has a little bit of a leaks too as well, where we're kind of hearing rumors just mixed into it that Game Pass itself will also be having Ubisoft, not just Ubisoft Classic, like Ubisoft Plus, not just the Classic. So we've been hearing more rumors on that. We've been hearing rumors with that with the PlayStation Plus. We'll kind of see what gets announced. In the end of the day, I'm sure Ubisoft wants to just have both of them be accessible on the consoles and all of that. So we can kind of go and see. It kind of go either way. We'll have to kind of go, judge and go from there. But it's kind of, a somewhat bigger leak as well. Now, for some other big changes, too, on the same topic of these conferences, we have now once again been hearing even more rumors that this upcoming next month we'll be seeing a really big PlayStation event, too, as well. And now what we mean by that is we are expecting, a kind of that same mid-summertime time. We're not sure exactly when. I would probably assume they usually like to do it a little bit after Xbox, especially now that they have the Xbox date, and it's very early June. So I'd maybe be expecting maybe late June, early July, and it would just make a lot of sense due to previous times and previous E3s and all of that, where we are expecting a lot more God of War news. We're expecting maybe Final Fantasy 16 news. We're expecting maybe some new Hogwarts news, and as well Forspoken updates and a few other various maybe futuristic games or maybe updates on the new Spider-Man or Wolverine. All that stuff put together sounds phenomenal. So for me, I'm just kind of waiting for it. And I usually love this mid-summer season. You guys can leave your comments down below if you guys are hyped up for it too, because I love seeing brand new games. We're waiting to go and see more games. We even saw the leak over there for the Contraband game, which is an open world co-op heist game set in Malaysia. And hopefully we'll have a lot more other Xbox games tied on in, maybe a new Forza, etc. As we get closer to that conference, we'll have more and more information and more, potentials when it does come to it. So I'm kind of hyped up for that, and I hope it'll turn out better than expected. So good news with that. PlayStation station, we haven't heard as many leaks besides just, more trying to wait for more God of War, although we can kind of expect that because we keep on seeing the expectations of it coming out this year. Although we do keep on seeing more and more Final Fantasy 16 news, and that not many folks have really been, I guess, paying attention to it or on top of it as much. Mainly just because when it comes to, for them in general, it's just seems kind of rough. Like we saw like some delays, we saw some issues, we saw some development stuff. So I'll be kind of curious to see if it will still be released as of this year. I still think it might get postponed until 2023. We're gonna have to see it from there though when it comes to Final Fantasy. Now, some other little things to go bring up too, as well as on the Silent Hill. So Konami's actually been holding this big series hostage for a while, but Konami's Silent Hill plans could include a remake now, a full sequel, and episodic stories. As we kind of report on the fact that Bloober Team was actually, some people were kind of skeptical on them because they haven't made the best games, so they also haven't made the worst games. So we saw Bloober Team as one developer understood to be working on a revival of the horror franchise. So basically, as of now, with that news coming out, you saw even more where it might be more on the multiple Silent Hill projects that are currently being developed at studios around the world. So basically, we're seeing a remake, full sequel, and a story-focused episodic series. So basically, a lot of leaked concepts arts appeared as well with the new Silent Hills in development, and this also had a lot more other stories too as well, where Konami was planning to revive the long dormant series too, and now a lot of folks over here are now bringing up the fact that we could actually be seeing more development of more series. So basically, this matches a lot what basically a lot of people have been hearing over here. And basically, the medium, if you guys haven't seen, has been linked to the Silent Hill franchise constantly over the past 18 months. Last year, the Polish developer announced a strategic cooperation agreement with Konami months after Bloober's CEO claimed it was working on an existing horror IP from a very famous gaming publisher. Now, this is all, it's basically everything all this kind of puts together and makes a lot of sense because it's all just tied on in with other things too as well. So as we're also seeing other stuff too on top of this, we've also been hearing apparently a lot of other developers that want to work on other Silent Hill IPs, which I'm actually very hyped up for too as well. One of these also tend to be more of an episodic short stories where we're kind of told maybe more think of like the Until Dawn type style, where they have maybe like smaller, maybe like 5 to 10 hour stories, or maybe like 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours as the usual other precedent. Other two people named independently gave them also as Annapurna Interactive, the acclaimed publisher behind games such as Sayonara, Wild Winds, and Outer Wilds, and Telling Lies, I've seen Outer Wilds, and they also could be involved in the stories project. However, many studios have been involved in pitches for Silent Hill, as well as that Annapurna was simply involved in those discussions rather than actually over there too as well. And also finally too, it planned that Konami was planning to release a brand new proper, like legitimate game, not a remake or episodic or whatever, in the Silent Hill series. It's not clear who is leading the game, but VGC reported last year that a Japanese studio is working on a Silent Hill project too as top of that. So a lot of stuff are intrigued because we're seeing like leaked images, we're seeing some small stuff. I'd show them, but I don't want to get like DMCA'd or taken down, but it's intriguing to kind of go and see. Especially now as of now, because we have all these big conferences coming, so we actually may even have a chance to go and see some trailers if they're a little bit more longer involved, or as well, we can kind of maybe go and you can kind of go and see. But basically, we're seeing a lot more stuff when it comes to Metal Gear, we're seeing stuff when it comes to Silent Hill, the remakes, and a lot of these old school type style games too as well. And it's funny because they keep on saying that they won't have any official comments, which also once again is usually a big indication that there's something coming soon, because if you can't make a comment on it, there's probably a reason why you can't make a comment on it too as well. So very cool just to have a chance to go and see more of this stuff too as well. I would like to say that it's hard to work with someone who owns an IP you're working on, but we're always talking with those licensors, saying, guys, we would like to use your license, but we like to tell our own story. If we don't have, not able to tell our own story, if we will not have creative freedom, it just doesn't make sense because Bloober Team will not make a great game. If you're in a prison, you will not be able to fly. So that's why we're trying to make only these titles in which we are feeling, okay, it'll be a Bloober Team game, not someone else's. And once again, we've had a lot of controversy with them because their previous games have not been bad. Layers of Fear, the Medium, etc., have not been awful. Like, they're not bad games, but at the end of the day, they also could have been a little bit better. So maybe if they had a pre-existing story or pre-existing dialogues, it may make things a little bit nicer. Now, to kind of wind down the video too, we actually have a little bit more on Warzone 2 leaks, where a lot of people are apparently saying it's more on the, basically more of the Blackout type version, rather than the traditional Warzone itself. They have some things, like pro perks being involved over here too as well, with armor too on top of that, bag systems now with limited inventories, new maps with returning stuff too as well. And basically you'll be also seeing like the other previous games too, maybe tying on in, which is nice to go and see. They have other various like small like thing. Basically, we're seeing like the early play test, so we're finally seeing information coming out with that. And although I'm not the biggest fan of it, I'll probably go check it out when it comes on up. So basically, make sure you guys give me your thoughts and comments down below. Cool with big news or big changes as well. I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller, Twitter and Twitch room down below, the Webull and Coinbase down below, and everything else down below. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys up on the next one.